In this video, I want to show you exactly what I would choose if I had £1,000 to spend on a live rig. I saw Anderton's make a live rig under 1K video a few days back, and it got me thinking, what would I do in that situation? Now, this is going to be what I would pick, not what I think is best for everyone. I don't play covers really. I've never done the covers band thing. I just play my own stuff. So this rig is going to be in the context of heavy rock, maybe virgin, slightly into metal territory. I'd like to keep the three main components or areas of the rig roughly the same kind of value. So guitar 1/3, effects 1/3, and amp 1/3. Roughly, we can have a little bit of give and take. So I think I'll start with the guitar, and to be honest, it's probably the easiest pick. The most important areas for me are tuning stability, a fast, comfortable neck, and something with pickups that complement a big, thick, high-gain sound. At first, I considered a player strat with humbuckers, but they're well over budget. I'm always surprised how much they've gone up in price each time I look. It would usually make sense for me to go with the Harley Benson SC Custom Plus with EMGs. I've got one here somewhere. I think it's in the loft, but I just can't face it right now. There's videos up on my channel. It's a brilliant guitar. It's got locking tuners, pickups that I love, a pretty good feeling neck, but it's closer to £400, so maybe pushing it a bit price-wise, and I have something else that I prefer that does meet the price requirement. And that is this Fusion 3 from Harley Benson. It's £350, it's versatile. I really like this guitar, and the tuning stability is perfect, and the neck feels like it's from a much more expensive guitar. The pickups sound very good. They're a bit more vintage than I would normally go for, but we'll probably sort it out with some clever pedal choices. I've made a couple of videos on this guitar, and to be honest, when Harley Benton told me that they were sending this out to me, I wasn't overly excited. The colour, yeah, I love that, but another Super Strat and one with lower output pickups and not even a Floyd. But the quality of this was a huge surprise, and the way the neck feels, it's effortless to play, and I would highly recommend these guitars. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested. Next up is the amp. Initially, I thought I could go with a pedal board-sized amp and then use the HX Stomp and be done, but that's really boring. Practical, but boring. It's like when you watch a rig rundown video and they go over to the guitarist's amp section and it's like an Axe FX or a Kemper. So boring. I completely get why you would choose that, and if you watch any of my recent video on my 2023 live rig, you'll see I do the same. It's lightweight, it's convenient for touring, still really boring for a video, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying my live rig video is boring, by the way, you should check that out. The Boss Katanas are really good and always a safe bet, but I want to go with something a bit more analog and a bit more interesting. So I'm going to go for the Blackstar Debut 50R. It's about £50 cheaper than the 50-watt Katana and takes pedals really well. It's very light and very loud. It comes with 2 channels, both sound great. I made a video for the release of this amp for Blackstar where I go more into depth showing the sounds available. If you want to check that video out after this one, please. It also has 2 very nice sounding onboard reverbs, which means that I don't have to get an external reverb pedal when we're buying effects for this rig. It comes in 2 colours, this black one or a cool looking cream and oxblood red. It can be dropped down to 5 watts for quieter playing and includes Blackstar's ISF control, their infinite shape feature, which I really like. And because it's a bit cheaper than, say, a Katana, it lets us have a bit more fun with the pedal budget. So we're up to about £550, leaving us £450 for effects, maybe a board and some kind of power supply. So for effects, I always like to have a delay, and at the moment I'm using this MXR carbon copy delay for YouTube demos, but they're about £150 now, so we need to find a much cheaper delay, and one that I like to use is the Mua Repeater, which is about £60. Sounds great, and what's really cool about this pedal is that it has a kill dry function. It doesn't really benefit us too much in this sub 1K rig, but if you move on to a bigger, more sophisticated amp in the future that has a parallel effects loop, that's a really useful feature. A lot of the Mesa Rectifier series came with parallel effects loops, and I actually keep this one in the loop of my Diesel VH4 and just blend it into taste. For a mid-gain pedal, I really like this Nobleman from Tone City. It's their version of a Noble's ODR1, and I think it does that sound really well for that open mid-gain kind of thing. It's perfect. I especially like it with a Telecaster. They're about £45, so well worth getting one. And now for the fun stuff. For my high-gain sound, I like to use this Soldano SLO pedal. The nice people at Boutique Amp Distribution sent me this, but they're about £200, £230, so well over budget. But I like this Bad 94 Mini just as much, and you can get these for about half the price. So if you want that high gain Marshall Shredmaster style in a tiny mini pedal size, then you need to check this out. Look at that colour. Look at it. I like to have an overdrive to kind of push the front end of my gain sound, so I could use the Nobleman for that, but I'd rather have it set up for a mid-gain crunch sound so that I can switch between my high-gain Bad 94 sound and the ODR1 from Nobleman. So I could either go for a Boss SD1 or Ibanez Tube Screamer Mini, but they're pretty much about the same price, about £60. I think I'm going to go with the Ibanez Tube Screamer because physically, it will sit better with the other mini pedals that I've chosen so far. And every good rig needs a tuner. I like to use the Boss TU2 Live normally, but again, I want something that's going to fit with these smaller pedals, so I'm choosing this Korg Pitch Black Mini. I like it, it's accurate, it's easy to see on stage. I've used it a few times on my smaller boards. I'm really happy with it. For a pedal board, you can't really go wrong with Pedal Train. I use the Metro 16 for my live boards, but we can get away with something a little bit smaller for this rig. So I'm going to be using the Pedal Train Nano. It's big enough and it's about £55. It's a bit expensive. But here's the bit where we can save some money as well as eliminate some other issues. Power supplies can be difficult and start adding up very quickly if you want anything decent. I use the CS6 Low Profile by True Tone on my live board. That's about £130. And on my studio board, it's a True Tone CS12 and that's about £180. If you have any USB power banks lying around, or if you're anything like me, like these kind of things, you've probably got a few of them. I found a really cheap and easy way to use them to power your effects, and it also removes any isolation or grounding issues. I was recently stranded on a tropical island with a load of gear and YouTubers for a few weeks. Yeah, I know, weird, right? And the nice people at Engel sent these out. I don't know if you can see it properly, but it's the Engel Power Tap. It's around £15 and it goes between your power bank and your pedals. It's got a maximum current output of 800 milliamps, which is way more than this pedal board needs. And I've also used it to power a much more power-hungry Line 6 HX Stomp and had no problems. So with all that added up, we get to £995. Admittedly, the only thing I didn't factor in was cables, but I can pretty much guarantee that if you turned up to your local guitar shop and bought this rig, they'd happily throw in all the cables you need for free. So let's hear how it sounds. But before I do, if you've come this far, please consider subscribing. If you've enjoyed what I've been doing, it makes such a huge difference. Thank you so much. tell me what you would choose for your sub 1K rig down below. I'd love to hear. What did you think of my choices? I think the Blackstar Debut 50 is such a good deal for £200, and I made a video for it where you can find out a bit more just here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.